Welcome to our video on the legendary Chevrolet Corvette. Since its debut in 1953, the Corvette has been a symbol of American automotive innovation, style, and performance. With its sleek design and powerful engines, the Corvette has captivated car enthusiasts around the world. In this video, we'll take you on a journey through the history of the Corvette, exploring each generation and the key features that have made it such an iconic and beloved car. So sit back, buckle up, and get ready to learn all about the Chevrolet Corvette. So, the Corvette was first introduced way back in 1953, and that marked the start of what we now know as the first generation of the car. It was the brainchild of a GM designer named Harley Earl, who wanted to create an American sports car that could compete with the European models that were so popular at the time. The first Corvette was a two-seater convertible with a fiberglass body and a 150 horsepower, six-cylinder engine. They only made 300 of them in the first year, and they were all built by hand in Michigan. The car had a really unique look, with a long hood and rounded fenders, plus a cool grille with vertical teeth and chrome spears on the sides. The first-generation Corvette had some pretty cool features, too. It was one of the first cars to have a Powerglide automatic transmission, plus a wraparound windshield and a removable hardtop. And while it wasn't as powerful as some of the European sports cars of the time, it still had a top speed of around 100 miles per hour and could go from 0 to 60 in about 11 seconds. Some people loved the first Corvette's sporty feel and unique styling, but others criticized its lack of power and high price tag. But no matter what people thought of it at the time, the first-generation Corvette set the stage for what would become an iconic American sports car. It established the Corvette's reputation for style and performance and paved the way for all the future generations of the car that would come after it. Let's talk about the second-generation Chevrolet Corvette, or the C2, as it's also known. This version of the Corvette was produced from 1963 to 1967, and it was a major departure from the first generation. The C2 Corvette was designed by a team led by Bill Mitchell, and it had a much more aggressive, muscular look than the first generation. It was sleeker, faster, and available in both coupe and convertible models. One of the most unique design features of the C2 Corvette was the split rear window that was only available on the 1963 model year. It also had hidden headlights, which were really popular at the time. Under the hood, the C2 Corvette was faster and more powerful than the first generation. It had a range of new engines, including the 427 cubic inch V8 engine, which could produce up to 435 horsepower and could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds. The car also introduced some new features, like power brakes and power steering, which made it more comfortable to drive. The C2 Corvette was successful on the racetrack, winning its class at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1960 and 1961. It was also used in the famous Grand Sport racing program, which was designed to challenge the dominance of the Shelby Cobra. Overall, the second-generation Corvette is one of the most iconic and desirable versions of the car. Its unique styling and powerful engines have made it a favorite among collectors and enthusiasts alike. Let's talk about the third-generation Chevrolet Corvette, or the C3, as it's also known. This version of the Corvette was produced from 1968 to 1982, and it was a big departure from the second generation. The C3 Corvette had a more aerodynamic look and improved performance than the previous generation. It featured a long, sweeping body with a low hood and fenders, and pop-up headlights that became a signature design feature. One of the most popular engines for the C3 was the 350 cubic inch V8, which could produce up to 370 horsepower. The car also had updated features like power windows, air conditioning, and an improved suspension system that made it more comfortable to drive. Overall, the C3 Corvette was a hit with over 540,000 units sold during its production run. It even became the official pace car for the Indianapolis 500, which was a pretty big deal. If you're into American sports cars, you definitely need to check out the C3 Corvette. Its unique styling and impressive performance make it a favorite among collectors and enthusiasts alike. Let's talk about the fourth-generation Chevrolet Corvette, also known as the C4. It was produced from 1984 to 1996, and it was a major redesign of the car. The C4 Corvette had a more modern and streamlined look than previous generations. It featured a sleeker, more aerodynamic body with a curved windshield and integrated bumpers. The car also had updated features like pop-up headlights and a new rear hatch design. Under the hood, the C4 Corvette continued to improve on performance, with a range of new engines and improved handling. One of the most popular engines was the 5.7-liter V8, which could produce up to 300 horsepower. The C4 Corvette also introduced a number of new features that were not available in previous generations, such as a digital dashboard and a keyless entry system. The car also had an improved suspension system, which made it more comfortable to drive. Overall, the C4 Corvette was a big success, with over 350,000 units sold during its production run. It even got to be the pace car for the Indianapolis 500 in 1986, which is a pretty big deal. If you're a fan of American sports cars, you should definitely check out the C4 Corvette. Its modern styling, impressive performance, and updated features make it a favorite among car enthusiasts. Let's talk about the fifth-generation Chevrolet Corvette, also known as the C5. It was produced from 1997 to 2004, and it was a huge overhaul of the car. The C5 Corvette was introduced in 1997, and it had a completely new design compared to previous generations. The car had a more angular and modern look with sharp lines and a new rear-end design. Under the hood, the C5 Corvette featured an all-new LS1 engine, which was a 5.7-liter V8 that could produce up to 350 horsepower. The car also had a new suspension system that improved handling and made it more comfortable to drive. One of the biggest updates in the C5 Corvette was the interior. It had a more modern and luxurious feel with leather seats, a Bose sound system, and an updated digital dashboard. The car even had a heads-up display that projected information onto the windshield, which was pretty futuristic at the time. The C5 Corvette was a huge success, with over 250,000 units sold during its production run. It was also used as the pace car for the Indianapolis 500 in 1998 and 2002. Overall, the fifth-generation Corvette was a huge improvement over the previous generations. Its modern design, improved performance, and updated features made it a favorite among car enthusiasts. If you're into American sports cars, you definitely need to check out the C5 Corvette. The sixth-generation Chevrolet Corvette, also known as the C6. It was produced from 2005 to 2013, and it built upon the success of the previous generations. The C6 Corvette had a similar design to the C5, but with some subtle updates. The car had a more refined and sleek look with sharper lines and a new front-end design. It also had larger wheels and a more aggressive stance. Under the hood, the C6 Corvette featured a 6.0-liter LS2 V8 engine that could produce up to 400 horsepower. In 2008, the engine was upgraded to a 6.2-liter LS3 V8 that could produce up to 436 horsepower. The car also had an optional Z51 performance package that included a sport-tuned suspension, larger brakes, and improved handling. Inside the car, the C6 Corvette had a more upscale feel with leather seats, dual-zone climate control, and a Bose sound system. It also had an updated digital dashboard and a heads-up display that projected important information onto the windshield. The C6 Corvette was well received by both critics and enthusiasts, with many praising its performance, handling, and refinement. It was also used as the pace car for the Indianapolis 500 in 2005 and 2008. Overall, the sixth-generation Corvette was a worthy successor to the previous generations. Its updated design, improved performance, and modern features made it a favorite among sports car enthusiasts. If you're into American muscle cars, you should definitely check out the C6 Corvette. The seventh-generation Chevrolet Corvette, also known as the C7. It was produced from 2014 to 2019, and it was a major overhaul of the car in terms of design, performance, and technology. The C7 Corvette had a completely new and aggressive design with sharp angles and lines, a wider stance, and a lower hood line. It had LED lighting both front and rear, and the taillights were a tribute to the iconic Corvette Stingray models of the 1960s. Under the hood, the C7 Corvette featured an all-new 6.2-liter LT1 V8 engine that could produce up to 460 horsepower. It had an optional 7-speed manual transmission, or an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters. The car also had a new carbon fiber hood and removable roof panel, which made it lighter and more agile on the road. Inside the car, the C7 Corvette had a more modern and high-tech feel with a driver-focused cockpit, an updated digital dashboard, and a configurable instrument cluster. It also had a standard 8-inch touchscreen with Chevrolet's MyLink infotainment system, which included features like Bluetooth connectivity, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. The C7 Corvette was praised for its incredible performance and handling, with some models being able to reach 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds. It was also used as the pace car for the Indianapolis 500 in 2013 and 2014. Overall, the seventh-generation Corvette was a huge leap forward in terms of design, technology, and performance. It was a fitting tribute to the long legacy of the iconic American sports car, and it remains a favorite among car enthusiasts. If you're into sports cars, you definitely need to check out the C7 Corvette. The eighth generation, also known as the C8. It was first introduced in 2019, and it's a total game-changer for the Corvette brand. The C8 Corvette is a mid-engine sports car, which means the engine is now located behind the driver instead of in front. This gives the car better weight distribution, which improves its overall handling and performance. It also gives the car a more exotic look and feel, which is a departure from the traditional front-engine Corvettes of the past. Under the hood, the C8 Corvette features an all-new 6.2-liter LT2 V8 engine that can produce up to 495 horsepower. It has an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission that can shift gears in just milliseconds. The car also has an optional Z51 performance package that includes larger brakes, a sport-tuned suspension, and an electronic limited-slip differential. Inside the car, the C8 Corvette has a more futuristic and driver-focused cockpit, with a 12-inch digital instrument cluster and an 8-inch touchscreen for the infotainment system. The car also has a new feature called the Performance Data Recorder, which allows you to record video and data from your driving experiences. The C8 Corvette has received rave reviews for its performance, handling, and overall design. It's been called a true supercar and a game-changer for the Corvette brand. The car has won several awards, including the 2020 Motor Trend Car of the Year and the 2020 North American Car of the Year. If you're a sports car enthusiast, you definitely need to check out the C8 Corvette. It's the most advanced and powerful Corvette ever made, and it's sure to impress anyone who gets behind the wheel. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the Chevrolet Corvette's incredible history. From its beginnings as a concept car to its evolution into an American icon, the Corvette has always represented the pinnacle of American automotive engineering and design. We hope you enjoyed learning about the Corvette's many generations and the impact it has had on the automotive industry. Thanks for watching.